Okay. Hello, everyone. Happy Earth Day. This is a totally impromptu, kind of unplanned live that I decided to do, or my husband talked me into doing. Because we were just chatting about Earth Day, and I know we wrote something that I felt really good about last year, and I always like to do something to honor the day because I think it's a really important day. For me, I actually was thinking, I had this idea this morning, like I should make an Earth Day resolution every year, like instead of a New Year's resolution, because I've always kind of thought New Year's resolutions are stupid. And I thought, oh, I want to make an Earth Day resolution. And I thought this was like this great idea. And then I was like, there's no way I'm the first person to have had this idea. So I Googled it. And of course, Earth Day resolutions is something that all different people and organizations have encouraged people to do. But anyway, this is my first year making an Earth Day resolution. And what I decided to do was actually inspired by something that I watched today that I got an invitation to from a mailing list that I'm on. And it was the author, Paul Hawken. And I was like, oh, I have that guy's book. It's called Drawdown is his book, this big, huge, beautiful book, Drawdown, the most comprehensive plan ever proposed to reverse global warming. Anyway, I have this book and I've read it and I was really inspired by it years ago. And so when I saw that he was doing a webinar today, I was like, oh, I'm going to show up for that. And the last thing he said on the webinar really touched me and I wrote it down, and it's what made me think of my Earth Day resolution. And he said, it's not our job to save the planet. The planet will save itself perfectly. It's our job to change our minds, and not other people's minds, just our own. And then be helpful to people. Help create the conditions where they can change their own minds. I loved everything about that statement, as you can imagine, because of the whole purpose of One Solution is to help people see the relationship between our minds and our ability to change our minds and persistent global challenges. So of course, I just totally loved that that was what he pointed to as the most important thing that people can do as a participant in the climate issues of our time. But also that he really stressed changing our minds and not other people's minds, just our own. And then I thought what was so beautiful is he said, and then you can help create the conditions where others can change their own minds. So it was just really cool. And I thought, yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be up to, is continuing to look after the ways I can keep changing my mind. I've had a lot of ways in which my own mind has changed around how I can help the world, the environment, the ecosystem that we get to call home, that we are blessed to call home, and that we are a vital participant in, and how my participation can be not just towards sustaining the environment, but really helping regenerate it and helping it heal. And so I have my own ways that I've done that in my mind. But I also love the idea of being helpful to people, not because I want to change something about them, but because if I'm able to help others like others have helped me, then you can see how to change your mind in whatever way you want to, if you want. So it's less aggressive, it's less agenda driven, it's more service driven. So I really liked that. So that was my Earth Day resolution, is I'm going to find ways in which I can continue to change my own mind and be helpful to others. And I was just chatting with Adic, and I had the idea that I would share what's helped me so far in my journey to educate myself and change my own mind around the climate issues of our time. And then I would ask you if there's anything that I can do to help you. And you can, because we're doing this live, you can bring that up now, or you could post it in the comments later, and I'll keep track of it and I will get back to people. So how can I help you in your journey in caring about the climate and the state of our planet? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below, or let me know right now. But before I get to your questions, I'm just going to share, for me, I love to read, and these are 3 books that definitely changed me, changed my mind. And the thing that I love about the simplicity of what Paul Hawkins said and why I'm reflecting on it to you all today on this live is that we can't do anything different unless our minds see something different. Like, I can't change my behavior unless I have a change of mind, and nothing in terms of my impact on the world can change unless my behavior changes, unless my mind changes. So I'm really grateful for the people in my personal sphere that have given me new ideas that sparked a change in my mind, and then also just amazing authors and professors and people that have taught me a lot. So today I'm sharing with you 3 books that definitely profoundly changed me. One I already mentioned to you, is Drawdown by Paul Hawkins. Highly recommend it. It's also a nice coffee table book, as they say. It has some great, beautiful images in it. Everybody loves a book with good images. Kiss the Ground. This is the one that I got on their mailing list after I read it. So Kiss the Ground is how the food you eat can reverse climate change, heal your body, and ultimately save our world. And you know what's funny is I read this a couple years ago, and I don't actually remember the food you eat part as much as the education I got about sort of big agriculture and farming practices and how they've sort of developed in the last 100 years to be what they are today, and how destructive that is to the soil, but how there's this beautiful paradigm shift happening slowly but surely toward a more regenerative agricultural practices. So it's really, really eye-opening. And I definitely think it's one of those that it'll change the way you look at how the food on our plate shows up and how the choices you make matter. I know that sounds like one of those things that's good in theory, but you can't really change your mind about it until you have some aha moment about it. And this book was full of those for me. Third one was definitely the most profound, I would say, spiritual or philosophical exploration of the state of the planet, and that's called Climate, A New Story by Charles Eisenstein. I feel like I'm in the old, did you ever see that? Anyone who's American and grew up in the 80s and 90s, remember Roger Ebert did something's corner, where he sat in a chair in the corner and talked about movies that he liked? I feel like Roger Ebert right now, of Siskel and Ebert. 2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs down. Remember this guy? Anybody? Right? Teo remembers. Teo remembers from his past life. So yes, I'm doing Climate Books Corner here. Anyway, this book is mind-blowing. Charles Eisenstein is a beautiful thinker. And he explains so eloquently how it's really a collective mindset of separation that drives the way we treat the earth. Like, we're very into we're at a moment in history where we kind of have to change the story that we have as humanity from an us versus them, me versus the land. Like, the way that we farm currently is all about like killing weeds and pests and using the strongest chemicals you can to the greatest extent that you can to kill off the things that are a pain in your ass. And that's not actually the way ecosystems work. We all have to figure out how to work together and see that we are a part of a whole. So it's a very philosophical, spiritual look at what's propelling and perpetuating such a destructive way of operating as humans toward the planet, but how to reverse that and how to do the necessary soul searching in order to make that happen. So these are the things that I think really helped me change my mind. And I've definitely, like, whether I saw a linear, this book made me start this behavior, I don't necessarily know that, but I know that my behavior has changed enormously over the last few years. Everything from, paying for city compost here. It's not offered in Chicago. We pay for it. I think it's worth it for the future of my beautiful child. to, really trying to reduce single-use plastic and anything wrapped in plastic. Like, I'm not perfect, but I've changed a lot of my everyday purchasing choices and actions. And I know it's in great part due to having read these beautiful books by these incredible authors. And I just thought of one other really cool quote that I'll share with you, and then I'll post it in the comments section after. The thing is, I didn't have it planned, so I got to see if I can pull it up. Can I find it? I know this is not what you're supposed to do on a Facebook Live, is just scroll your iPhone, but I really want to find this quote. I thought I had it pulled up. Maybe I don't. Okay, in the meantime, Adik, any questions or comments on live?
Carson comments, so people want to comment.
Oh, I found it. Okay. I don't remember what this guy's title is. I hate that term, but I can look it up. He's a brilliant man who made a brilliant statement. I'm pretty sure he's used to be on the head of like the environmental committee or NRDC or something like that. Anyway, he's a scientist. Name is Gus Speth, and he wrote, "I used to think the top environmental problems were biodiversity loss, ecosystem collapse, and climate change. I thought that with 30 years of good science, we could address those problems. But I was wrong. The top environmental problems are selfishness, greed, and apathy. And to deal with those, we need a spiritual and cultural transformation. And we scientists don't know how to do that." I thought of that as I was talking about this, the kind of the deep sort of spiritual, cultural transformation that needs to take place. And I'm going to end with that because I feel like we have a really interesting moment of opportunity here with everything that's going on with coronavirus, where our culture has been very disrupted. And there's a way in which we're going to have to kind of adapt our culture in a lot of ways we weren't expecting, and we're going to have to get very creative in terms of sort of rebuilding the economy post-coronavirus. And I'm really excited and hopeful that we will make some more sustainable and regenerative and forward-thinking choices in terms of how we kind of start again after we've had this interesting sort of forced pause that has kind of wiped the slate clean in a lot of ways. How are we going to build the economy back up? Are we going to build it up in the same way that it already was? Or are we going to build it up in a new way? And I think that there's really beautiful potential there for some very earth-friendly changes to be made. And I hope, for the sake of all of us and my beautiful little baby boy over there, that we make some good new choices. Okay, those are my ramblings, my reflections, and all I wanted to do was really say Happy Earth Day. These are some things that helped me, and please let me know if there's anything that I can do to help you.